Hello, darling. Are you afraid of making your dreams come true? Are you afraid of living the life that you feel that you deserve? In this reading, the Jungle Beauty Goddesses are going to tell you what you are afraid of and what is holding you back from living the life that you deserve. Thank you so much for watching. I would like for you to take a moment to settle your spirit. Take in a deep breath to the count of 9, hold it to the count of 9, and blow it out to the count of 9. This will help you select the butterfly color that most resonate with your spirit and the message you need to hear. I call on forces higher than I to unleash the wisdom I hold inside. Let this message be compassionate and true to show someone what they must do. Tap into the infinite wisdom of your own inner guide. Ask it to reveal to you what is hidden deep inside. Take what you need and ignore what doesn't apply by selecting the color of the right butterfly. Listen to the whispers of your own inner voice and let it help you make the true butterfly choice with the lessons and insights that will help you grow and lead you in the direction that you choose to go. Let's see what the Jungle Beauty Goddesses have to say to help someone find their way. Hello, darling. If you selected the yellow butterfly, this reading is for you. The Jungle Beauty Goddesses are answering the question, what am I afraid of? First, I'm going to go over the cards, and then I'm going to give you my collective intuition about this spread. The first card I have for you is from Demeter, who is the father of the Jungle Beauty Goddesses. He is divine masculine, what gives us the energy to make decisions, to move, to take action. And he says, you will learn from action, not inaction. The next card I have for you is from Jungle Beauty Goddess Chalby, who represents our third chakra, which has to do with our self-esteem, self-worth. Again, we're talking about an action card. She says, speak your truth with audacity. The next card I have for you is from Jungle Beauty Goddess Kalahari. And Jungle Beauty Goddess Kalahari's message to you is, you can't help who you love, but you can help how you allow yourself to be treated. The next card I have for you, again, we have Jungle Beauty Goddess Kalahari, who represents our heart chakra. Her element is water, which deals with our emotions, our ability to trust, to love, to feel compassion. She says, you don't find love, you resonate love, and it finds you. And the last card I have for you for this reading, again, we have Divine Masculine. Demeter, who represents energy that creates the universe, who is the father of the Jungle Beauty Goddesses, and his message to you is, you are all powerful. My intuition about this hand is that you are afraid of making mistakes. That is what you are afraid of. You are afraid that if you make mistakes, that people aren't going to love you. And the reason that you're afraid of making mistakes is because when you were a child, this is just what my intuition is telling me about this particular spread. When you were a child and you made mistakes, you were punished. Your parents, like most parents, they probably yelled at you or they got upset. But I also think that you were silent. So when you made a mistake, you felt unloved. And when you felt unloved, of course, you felt rejected. And because of this, it has really shut you down from taking action, from making decisions, you're not the kind of person who really wants to do something that is not perfect or is not good enough. Because when you were a kid, I'm not saying this particular thing happened, you probably had parents where if you were trying to help set the dinner table and you broke a glass, it was going to be a holy war. It's like, how could you do that? Are you stupid? What's wrong with you? So basically, what happened to you is that because your childhood, because the people you love and the people you wanted to impress and the people you wanted to accept you, even with your flaws, even with your mistakes, criticize you for making normal mistakes, you were shut down from actually taking action. This is the reason why you procrastinate. So what you're really afraid of, you're afraid of not being perfect, you're afraid of ridicule, you're afraid of criticism, but at the root of all of those factors, you're most afraid of not being loved, because you were afraid of being rejected by your parents. So also, you have the card from Jungle Beauty Goddess Chabi. And Jungle Beauty Goddess Chabi says, speak your truth with audacity. My gut reaction to this card was that, first, Chabi represents our third chakra, which has to do with our gut instincts and our ability to, our self-worth, our ability to take action, to believe in ourselves, to be accountable, to be responsible, leadership. What popped in my head was that when you were a child, you were probably told to shut up. Like, your opinion didn't matter. Like, if you were, saying something, your parents would say, look, I am, or your authority figures, I'm the boss. This, you do as I say because I said so. Your opinion about, what to do, how things are supposed to be, you were told that was not important. So you really learned to suppress your truth, to suppress your real opinion, because you were more concerned with your, respecting your parents, but more importantly, you didn't want to offend your parents because you were afraid that they would take their love away if you did not think the way or act the way they wanted you to. So basically, the biggest message from this hand for you is that when you were a child, and because you were, silenced, and like most kids, our parents tell us, be quiet. Why? Because I said so. Because you felt like you didn't want to disappoint your parents, your power was taken away. So you got to a point in your life where you kind of feel like you're not a person who is going to go and change the world, or you kind of feel like, how can one person do all those things? Basically, you learn to suppress your power. You don't even know how powerful you are, because when you were a kid, you cut that off. So this spread is telling you, don't be afraid of your power. You are all powerful. Don't be afraid to speak your truth, right? With audacity. Don't be afraid to speak your truth. Don't be afraid to align with your power. And once you align with your truth and understand how powerful you are and take action, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Like, that's another thing, is that you will learn from action, not inaction. Basically, if you do something wrong, you didn't really do it wrong. You just learned just one way you're learning how to do it correctly. So this hand for you is saying you're afraid of rejection, you're afraid of not being loved. Your ability to speak the truth, know the truth, accept your truth, to accept your power was shut down when you were very young. You did not want to lose the love of your parents, which caused you to always be the person who was giving. And I feel like this card that you have from Jungle Beauty Goddess Chabi, this says, let me get it in focus here. It says you can't help who you love, but you can help how you allow yourself to be treated. I feel like this particular hand, or this particular card, is saying that because you love your parents, you allowed, when you were a child, it's not that you allowed them to talk to you in a manner that was very disrespectful. Because a lot of times in a lot of cultures, you respect your parents, but that behavior was also passed on to your relationships, maybe with your friends, with your colleagues, with everybody. You just learned to be the person who go along to get along. You stopped really, saying how you really felt or speaking up because you didn't want your friends and your family to reject you. So just because you love somebody, it doesn't mean that you should allow them to treat you in a way that doesn't honor who you are. And then you have another card from Jungle Beauty Goddess Kalahari, who again represents our emotions, and her element is water, which it's like I'm picking up from this particular hand that you have suppressed your emotions because you have been in denial about how you feel, just hoping that people would just like you if you know your place and stay in your place and not offend people. But you have another card from her that says you don't find love, you resonate love, and it finds you. Now what this card means to me in this particular spread is that we can't really love ourselves fully. Like, let me just say this. Loving yourself is accepting yourself and it's speaking your truth. It is knowing that if I tell you how I really feel, that you hurt my feelings, or I don't like this or like that, and knowing that you're still going to love me. So you can't really find love until you first are able to align yourself with your own truth. I don't know if that makes sense. So aligning your speaking. So let me just pull it all together here and summarize it. So basically, what you're afraid of, you're afraid of disappointing people, you're afraid of making mistakes, you're afraid of being rejected, because when you were a child, you wanted to please your parents, and you suppressed your truth during this time period. And because you suppressed your truth, you were afraid of making mistakes. So you were afraid, well, if I break the glass or if I spill the milk, then my parents are going to be very angry with me. And then over time, you just became a person who was just afraid of taking chances because you didn't want to disappoint anybody. So the message from this hand is that for you to realign with your power and know that you are all powerful, and that you need to speak your truth and believe in yourself, and understand that when you take action, even if you make a mistake, it's okay, because that is how you're going to learn. I really hope this reading helps someone. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Hello, darling. If you selected the blue butterfly, this reading is for you. First, I'm going to go over the cards, and then I'm going to give you my collective intuition about this hand. The first card I have for you is from Jungle Beauty Goddess Sapphire. And Jungle Beauty Goddess Sapphire's message to you is bring your dreams to life. The next card I have for you is from Jungle Beauty Goddess Kalahari, who represents our heart chakra. Her message to you is sometimes love means hanging on. The next card I have for you is from Jungle Beauty Goddess Kalahari, and she says love is the only thing worth fighting for. It's like one of my favorite cards ever. The next card I have for you is from Jungle Beauty Goddess Chabi, and Jungle Beauty Goddess Chabi says you have the courage to stand up for yourself. And the last card I have for you is from Demeter, who represents, well, he is the Jungle Beauty Goddess's father, but he represents the divine masculine, and he's like the creator of the universe. So let me get this card straight. And his message to you, let me get it in focus here, is acknowledge your shadow self. My collective intuition about this hand is that What you are afraid of, in my opinion, is letting people see the real you. Letting people see, unleashing the part of you that you have suppressed your whole life. So your shadow self is the part of you that is, it's all of the parts of your personality that has been rejected by society. Your shadow self is the part of you that has been jealous, angry, the part of you that has been maybe a little greedy or selfish. But it's all of the parts of our personality that we have learned that is totally unacceptable. But the thing about that is that our shadow self is really a big part of who we are. And so, for example, you may have a person who, and this is just an example, who is very aggressive, very assertive, and as opposed to them in denial of that aspect of their personality, they decide, I'm going to be a boxer, or they decide, I'm going to play on a football team. So in order to be successful in life, you really have to acknowledge your shadow self, because it is really a part of your human experience. It's a part of your growth and development on this planet. It's a part of your gift as well. So I'm saying that if you're the type of person who is jealous of people, or maybe you're a little gossipy, because maybe you could have a career, on television, I don't know, but whatever part of you that you have rejected because you're ashamed of it, you need to let that part of you out. Like, for example, if you're a person who is afraid to let people see how angry you are, like you don't want to go from 1 to 100, so you're always being the nice person. Well, you need to acknowledge, I'm not saying you need to go and lose your job and go tell people off, child, but what I am saying is that you're not going to live the life of your dreams if you are afraid to embrace all of who you are and just make peace with it. Like, say, hey, I'm just, don't piss me off. I'm that person. I'm going to walk away. Like, don't be in denial of all of who that you are, because every piece of you is going to help you figure out where you belong in this world. So that's what you're afraid of. You're afraid of really letting people know that maybe you're jealous, maybe you're a little materialistic, maybe, when we say materialistic, maybe you really do want a Benz, maybe you really are competitive, maybe you really, I don't know what those traits are, but whatever part of your personality that you've been suppressing, you really need to acknowledge and accept it and figure out how it fits into who you are. How it fits into helping you to become whole so that you can find your place in this world. So you also have a card that's from Jungle Beauty Goddess Chabi that says you have the courage to stand up for yourself. So once you acknowledge your shadow self, you should be able to, tell people how you really feel. Like, when I say tell people how you really feel, like, say, for example, you're working a job and you feel that you should have been, asked for a promotion. You should ask for that promotion. You should, look for new opportunities. You should, let's just say you want to, start a YouTube channel. I'm just thinking of things. You need to just go ahead and do that and understand and do it on that crazy topic that everybody told you was weird. So let's say you just like making dinosaurs, or you like monsters, or you like spiders, and everybody was telling you, like, because again, this is your shadow self, that part of you that you have tucked away from society, and you just were, like, oh no, I don't like spiders, I don't like dinosaurs, I don't like monsters. So you've been in denial about that. But maybe when you stand up for yourself, let's say you want to start a YouTube channel about just being honest, just being your total weird self. You know what I mean? Acknowledge Maybe people have accused you of being a witch, or thinking, and maybe you say, and you've been trying to prove to people that you aren't a witch or you aren't a bad person. Maybe you need to say, I just might zap you, darling. I just might zap you, okay? Get in touch with that part of yourself that you have been in denial about, and stand up for yourself and stop caring what people think, because that is what you're afraid of. You're afraid that if people really see how weird you really are, what the things that you really, really like, they're not going to like you, but who cares? You also have 2 cards from Jungle Beauty Goddess Kalahari, who represents our heart chakra. Her element is water, which is, controls our emotions. And one of your cards says, love is the only thing worth fighting for. And the other card says, let me get her in focus here. It says, sometimes love means hanging on. What my intuition is telling me about this particular hand is that you are afraid of showing your vulnerability. You are afraid of fighting for love, fighting for your relationships, whether it's with your friends, whether it's with your family, because you don't want to come across as being soft. You don't want to come across as, but again, tapping into your shadow self, tapping into your true, which is really just your true personality. It's like the part of you that is like, maybe a little sappy. Maybe it's the part of you that you really don't want other people to see. I feel like this hand is saying, tap into that part of you that you have been reluctant to show other people, and fight for what you love, babe. Fight for, I don't care if it's fighting for an issue. I don't care if it's fighting for a person. I don't care if it's fighting for a job. I don't care if it's fighting for your dream. You need to just be honest and know that if you love something, that it is worth fighting for. Brother, does that make sense? So basically, the outcome for this particular hand is from Jungle Beauty Goddess Afar. Jungle Beauty Goddess Afar says, bring your dreams to life. She represents your 3rd chakra, your imagination, wisdom. It's like thinking a new way, solving problems, letting go of the old, bringing in the new. And what her message to you is, until you acknowledge your shadow self, that part of you that is, weird, the part of you that is who's feisty, the part of you that people just don't know, you know what I'm saying? Acknowledge that person and let that person emerge into your personality, with some constraints. You don't want to go around cursing everybody out. You don't want to go, you know what I'm saying? But you should really bring your shadow self into the light, so to speak, so that you can, and this is going to give you the courage to stand up for yourself. This is also going to give you the courage to align with what you love and what you love to do. But you can't align with what you love to do until you first love all aspects of who you are. I really hope this reading helps someone. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Hello, darling. If you selected the hot pink butterfly, this reading is for you. First, I'm going to go over the cards, and then I'm going to give you my collective intuition about this hand. The first card I have for you is from Jungle Beauty Goddess Afar. And Jungle Beauty Goddess Afar says, find another way to solve the problem. She represents our 3rd eye, which has to do with our ideas and imagination, problem solving. Oh my gosh, you have another Jungle Beauty Goddess Afar. And Jungle Beauty Goddess Afar says, be crafty, create the life you deserve. She also, her element is air, which has to do with communication and thinking. We have Jungle Beauty Goddess Namiv, who represents the soul and our crown chakra. Her element is spirit, of course, and she says trust. And then the next card I have for you, again, oh my goodness, you have Namib, who represents the soul, the crown chakra. Give your mind time to accept the wisdom of your soul. Forgive yourself. And then the last card I have for you is from Jungle Beauty Goddess Sinai, who represents the second chakra, which has to do with our ability to take risks, to enjoy life, to be passionate, to have, fun, and be spontaneous. She says, take a risk. My collective intuition about this hand is that I feel that what you are afraid of is violating. You're afraid of your imagination. You're afraid of disobeying the rules of society. So the best way I could say this is that your super ego, you grew up a certain way with certain beliefs in your culture, in your church, in your family, and you are afraid to think differently than the way you were taught to think, and therefore you are afraid to take risk and live a more fulfilling life. That's what I believe in a nutshell. That's what this is what this particular spread screams to me. So you have Jungle Beauty Goddess of Fire, who represents our third eye. It has to do with wisdom, it has to do with our imagination, it has to do with our ability to let go of the old and bring in the new. It has to do with coming up with a being our ingenuity is basically doing something that hasn't been done before. And usually when our third eye is closed, we really just believe in a very conventional way, like the way the world wants us to think. We rarely think outside the box or think another way because we're afraid that we're going to be, struck down. And then your crown chakra also, you have Namib. And what she says is, give your mind time to accept the wisdom of your soul. Forgive yourself. Like you may, to give you an example, the best way I could, this is just an example, is let's just say that all your life you have been taught to go to church on Sundays, to believe in the Bible. But let's just say that you have developed an interest in gemstones or meditation or looking at other religions. You feel really guilty about that, and you feel that it's wrong because you were indoctrinated, or you were culture, your family, it was a part of your culture, and you were conditioned to think like, we're supposed to follow the Bible. This is the way life is supposed to be. There is no other way but this way. And you try to stay in alignment with that truth. But stand into alignment with the way you have been conditioned by your family, by your culture, has prevented you from growing and evolving. So you're afraid of, I want to say going to hell. You're afraid of disappointing your family, disappointing society, disappointing the doctrine that you have been raised and conditioned to believe in. So I'm going to say the message to you is for you to take a risk. But also Jungle Beauty Goddess Sinai represents the second chakra, which has to do with our ability to live passionately, to have fun, to live joyously, to live a life of our dreams. And also it has to do with our artistic expression for painting and drawing. But you can't, one of the things I tell people is that it's really difficult to express your ideas when you are in denial about them. So you have Jungle Beauty Goddess of Fire, and she says, be crafty and create the life you deserve. Now what's interesting about artistic expression is that our artistic expression is we utilize our second chakra, which you have Jungle Beauty Goddess Sinai, And we also utilize our third eye. So our third eye and our second chakra are really responsible for when we paint like a beautiful picture, right? Or when we do creative tasks. But if you are creating art or writing and it's just like what everybody else is doing, like let's just say you are just really afraid, I'm just saying something insane, like you're afraid to put like a tail on your doll, or give her a, make her anatomically correct, or do something that's out of the ordinary because you have been taught that you have to follow the line. So be crafty, create the life you deserve. In order to do that, you're going to have to take a risk. You're going to have to take a risk and do something that hasn't been done. You're going to have to take a risk and let your imagination, fly free. You're going to have to let go and know that you're not going to be punished. And, Jungle Beauty Goddess Nami represents your crown chakra, which is your connection to your higher self, your connection to your idea of God or divinity. And she says, give your mind time to accept the wisdom of your soul. Forgive yourself. So basically she's saying, allow yourself to evolve and grow and accept new ideas. Don't be afraid of new ideas. Don't be afraid to open your mind up, okay? Because this is all a part of growing as a human being. And she says to trust. Trust that you're going to be led in the right direction. Trust, that your family is going to love you, that God loves you. Trust that, you're not going to be judged because you have found a new way of expressing yourself, artistically expressing yourself, a new way of seeing the world. Jungle Beauty Goddess Afar says, find another way to solve the problem. So you're afraid of thinking outside of the box. You're afraid of growing. You're afraid of offending. You're afraid of using your imagination, and you're afraid of taking a risk. Because the way you were raised and the rules that you were given have been so a part of who you are. You're afraid that if you don't stay within the boundaries of those rules, then you would not be accepted and loved as a person. I really hope this reading helps someone. Thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.